Princess Catherine goes nuts after Queen Camilla bullies Princess Charlotte. For decades, the British monarchy has prided itself on stability, tradition, and dignity. But behind the palace gates, the atmosphere has often been anything but serene. Generational divides, jealousies, and shifting power dynamics simmer beneath the surface. In 2025, those tensions boiled over when whispers of an explosive confrontation between Queen Camilla and Princess Catherine shook the palace to its foundations. At the center of the storm was not William, not Charles, but 8-year-old Princess Charlotte, a child too young to understand the viciousness of royal politics, yet old enough to feel its sting. The trouble began at a private family gathering at Balmoral, the royal family's beloved Scottish estate. King Charles had invited his children and grandchildren for what he described as a much-needed summer of unity. But unity was the last thing the family would find. According to insiders, Catherine had been excited for her children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, to spend time with their grandfather. She hoped the Scottish retreat would allow them to feel closer to their royal roots while still enjoying the freedom of the countryside. But Catherine hadn't counted on Camilla. The queen consort had long been accused of struggling to connect with the younger royals. While publicly, she smiled and offered grandmotherly warmth, behind closed doors her attitude could be sharp, dismissive, and even cruel. And this time, her target was Princess Charlotte. The incident unfolded one rainy afternoon in the castle drawing room. The children had been playing, with Charlotte proudly showing off a sketch she had made of the estate's gardens. Camilla, sipping tea by the fireplace, looked at the drawing with a critical eye. "Well," she reportedly said, her voice dripping with condescension, "that's very nice, dear. But you know, your brother George will be king one day. Perhaps you should learn not to expect too much attention." The room went still. Charlotte froze, clutching her sketchbook to her chest. Camilla wasn't finished. "Girls in this family must know their place," she continued. "You'll never be as important as George. Best to remember that early." Unbeknownst to Camilla, Catherine had entered the room just moments earlier, unnoticed by the queen consort. What she heard stopped her in her tracks. For years, Catherine had borne Camilla's sharp tongue in silence, determined not to add fuel to royal gossip. But this was different. This was her daughter, her innocent, bright-eyed Charlotte, being diminished and bullied. Catherine's face flushed with anger. Her hands trembled as she set down the tray she had been carrying. And then, with a calmness that masked the fury within, she approached. "Excuse me?" Catherine's voice sliced through the silence. Camilla turned, startled. "Oh, Catherine, darling, I was just—" But she didn't get the chance to finish. "You were just what?" Catherine's voice rose. "Telling my daughter she isn't important? Teaching her she doesn't matter in her own family?" Charlotte, wide-eyed, looked between her mother and her step-grandmother. Tears glistened at the edges of her lashes. Catherine pulled her daughter close, wrapping an arm protectively around her shoulders. "Don't you ever speak to Charlotte like that again," Catherine hissed. "She is every bit as valuable as her brothers. She is kind, brilliant, and strong, and I will not allow you to poison her with your cruelty." Camilla stiffened, her lips pressed into a thin line. She tried to dismiss the outburst with a wave of her hand. "Oh, Catherine, don't be so dramatic. I was merely making a point. This is the monarchy. We all have roles to play." But Catherine wasn't having it. "A point," she snapped. "You call belittling an 8-year-old a point? She's a child, Camilla. My child. And if you think I will stand by while you tear her down, you are gravely mistaken." The tension in the room was suffocating. Even the staff nearby froze, their eyes wide as they pretended not to overhear the clash between queen and princess. As fate would have it, Prince William entered the drawing room at that very moment. He found his wife red-faced with fury, his daughter clutching her sketchbook in tears, and his stepmother staring back with icy indignation. "What on earth is going on here?" he demanded. Catherine turned to him, her voice shaking with emotion. "William," she was bullying Charlotte, telling her she doesn't matter, that she'll never be as important as George. William's eyes darkened. His jaw tightened. He turned slowly to Camilla. "Is this true?" Camilla, suddenly aware of the seriousness of the moment, tried to backpedal. "Oh, don't be ridiculous. It was harmless. Just a little comment." But William cut her off, his voice cold. "Nothing about belittling my daughter is harmless." The confrontation sent shockwaves through Balmoral. Staff whispered about the explosive row. The children, sensing the tension, clung more tightly to Catherine's side. That evening, Catherine refused to join the family dinner. Instead, she took George, Charlotte, and Louis to a private dining room where she comforted Charlotte with gentle words. "You are perfect just as you are," Catherine whispered to her daughter. "Never let anyone make you believe otherwise." William, meanwhile, confronted his father privately. "Something has to change," he told King Charles. "If Camilla cannot treat my wife and children with respect, then I will not bring them here again." Within days, word of the confrontation leaked. Though no official statement was made, rumors swept through the press. A heated row at Balmoral, a tearful Princess Charlotte, Catherine's fury, and William's ultimatum. Palace aides scrambled to control the narrative. They insisted the family had enjoyed a warm and relaxing holiday and dismissed reports of conflict as wildly exaggerated. But the damage was done. The public had already chosen a side. Across Britain, sympathy poured in for Catherine and Charlotte. "She's a mother first, a princess second," one commentator said. "Good on her for standing up to Camilla." Social media exploded with hashtags. Hashtag Team Catherine. Hashtag Protect Charlotte. Hashtag No to Bullying. Camilla, already struggling with her public image, faced renewed criticism. Headlines accused her of cruelty, arrogance, and of repeating history by marginalizing young royals she deemed less significant. In the weeks that followed, the atmosphere inside the royal family grew frostier than ever. Catherine avoided engagements that required her to appear alongside Camilla. William became distant with his father, frustrated by Charles's reluctance to reprimand his wife. According to insiders, Catherine confided to friends, "I will never forget the look on Charlotte's face. Never. If Camilla thinks she can treat my children that way, she has another thing coming." Though painful, the incident also became a turning point for Princess Charlotte herself. Encouraged by her mother, she began to embrace her individuality more fiercely than ever. "She has a fire in her," Catherine said proudly in a private moment. "No one will dim it, not even a queen." Charlotte threw herself into her passions, horse riding, piano, and even sports, earning admiration for her determination and spirit. For Camilla, the fallout was profound. Once seen as Charles's steadying influence, she now found herself increasingly isolated within the family. Her attempts to downplay the incident only fueled the perception that she lacked empathy. Even senior courtiers began to distance themselves, privately admitting that Catherine had won the public's heart in a way Camilla never could. In the end, the confrontation at Balmoral became more than just a family squabble. It became a symbol, a battle between old royal hierarchies and a new generation that values compassion, equality, and respect. By standing up for her daughter, Catherine proved she was not just a passive figurehead. She was a lioness, a mother determined to protect her children at any cost. And while Camilla may have worn the crown that day, it was Catherine who truly reigned in the hearts of the people.